"You should do something about your wife," said the pretty blonde, sitting across from me at lunch. "I know," I said, taking a bite out of my salad. "You know she's sleeping with Rolf again, right?" she asked. By she. In this case, she meant April, my sister-in-law, who worked in my department. Rolf was not only my wife's current lover, but also my boss. As you may have guessed, this was not the first affair between Rolf and my wife. The last time I caught them doing it was during a company Christmas party. I'd nearly killed the bastard then and backed off, kicking Marcia to the curb when she swore it wouldn't happen again. "It was just sex, Larry. It didn't mean anything," she cried as we drove home. "I still love you." Like an idiot, I believed her and kept putting up with it, thinking we could work it out with counseling. And it seemed to work for a few months. But gradually, things went back to normal. You know what it's like: girls' night out, Marcia staying out late, coming home smelling of stale cigarettes, beer, and sex, and yet she denied me even the slightest affection. And me, you ask, who am I? My name is Larry Reynolds, chief engineer for a technical company specializing in surveillance devices. I was responsible for overseeing the development of new devices, such as internet-enabled microcameras and the like. Our work was mostly classified and quite complex. I met and married Marcia right out of college. There was something about her blonde hair, deep blue eyes, and stunning body that made me fall in love with her at first sight. She also had a playful personality and was always open to sex. Things were great for the first couple years. We partied like rabbits and couldn't have been happier with each other. Then I got promoted to my current position, and everything went to hell. After my promotion, we decided that I was making enough so she wouldn't have to work. So we bought a big house and got ready to expand our family. Unfortunately, Rolf, my new boss, was a real bore who made my life hell by making me work up to 60 hours a week. Worse, he was an arrogant, self-righteous bastard who thought he was God's gift to women. I heard from several of my female co-workers at work about his actions and wondered why no one had filed a sexual harassment report against him. Then there was that Christmas party. Marcia had worn a tiny dress and Rolf had caught on almost immediately, targeting her like a guided cruise missile. A couple hours after the party, I started looking for Marcia, but I couldn't find her. Someone told me that they thought Marcia and Rolf had been seen heading to the conference room. After a half hour of searching, I found them. Marcia was lying on the table with Rolf on top of her. "Get out of here, you pervert! I'm almost done, then you can take her home," he said with a smirk. Marcia just smiled at me, apparently not caring that she had just been caught in the act. "Get dressed, bitch! We're leaving," I said to Marcia as I headed for the exit. Naturally, there was a cold atmosphere at home for a while longer. The next day, Rolf cornered me at work and threatened to fire me if I said anything to HR. I didn't want to jeopardize my job, so I didn't react the way I wanted to. But that didn't mean I didn't do anything. "So what are you going to do?" asked April, forcing me back to my current reality. "Are you going to divorce her? And what are you going to do about Rolf? Are you going to let them keep cuckolding you like this? You know people are starting to notice that." "Yeah, I know what people are saying," I said. "Unfortunately, divorce is out of the question. As much as I'd like to divorce her ass, the truth is I'd lose everything, including the house, and end up paying for her to keep having sex with Rolf." "That leaves no other options," April said. She was right. I could kill her. Hell, I'd even considered killing her. But that would only result in me going to jail for life. Or worse. Killing her was out of the question. "Whatever you do, you have to do it fast," April said. "I'm not covering for her anymore, and I'm sick of hearing her talk about how big Rolf is. God, this is going to kill our ancestors. They think the sun rises and sets in her." I was tired of Marcia's ramblings, too. I assured April before we finished lunch that I had it all sorted out and would deal with her soon. No one knew that for the past few months I'd been plotting my revenge, both on Marcia and Rolf, in case things went south again. Thanks to my work, I was able to get my hands on top-of-the-line surveillance equipment. High-definition cameras throughout the house, internet-controlled, GPS units on her car, cameras built into the dashboard, and microphones in her purse. Yes, I had it all covered, and it paid off. The evidence was pretty obvious. Rolf and Marcia met almost every day, sometimes in our marital bed, sometimes in hotels around town. It was pretty clear that they were in a long-term relationship and disrespected me at every opportunity. One conversation, for example, included their desire for Rolf to get Marcia pregnant and pass the child off as mine, even forcing me to pay for her medical expenses. I couldn't help but wonder what Rolf's wife would think of that. I also wondered what upper management would think about a middle manager blatantly violating their moral code. I also took the time to get in shape. I'd gotten a little pot-bellied after being discharged from the Marines, so I decided to join a gym and take karate lessons to sharpen my fighting skills. If Rolf wants to fight, he'll be in for a surprise. But what about Marcia? There's no way I'd let her off the hook, and I'd clearly be on the losing end of the divorce. That's where Jake came in. I met him at the gym, and later we got to talking over a beer at a bar nearby. As it turned out, Jake was an ex-con with some questionable connections. After letting me cry into my beer, the big black man put his arm around my shoulders. "Look, man, this shit is killing you. I know how you feel, trust me. Killing it won't help, trust me. I know firsthand," he said. "So what am I supposed to do? I can't kill her, I can't divorce her, and I certainly can't live with her. Tell you what, let me make some calls. I've got some ideas that might work, and you don't need or want to know the details," he said. "Thanks, man," I said. We spent the rest of the night at the bar watching the game over beers. Marcia threw a tantrum when I staggered back into the house after midnight, but I wasn't in the mood to listen to her nastiness. "Where have you been, asshole? You're drunk!" she yelled. "Fuck you, bitch!" I yelled back. "After all the shit you put me through, I deserve a night out with my friends, so get the fuck off me." Marcia jumped back. I'd never spoken to her like that before. She backed off and didn't say anything else for the rest of the evening. The next day, Marcia had one of her late nights. She claimed to have been with the girls, but I knew better. She smelled like sex, and it was obvious she had slept with Rolf. She stripped naked, climbed into bed, and grabbed my hand, placing it on hers. "Take me," she whispered. I pushed her away. "God, you stink," I said. "Go take a shower. You stink like shit." "Fuck you," she said, turning away. I kicked her out of bed and told her if she insisted on smelling like a street whore, let her sleep in the guest bedroom. A couple days later, Jake texted me, "Africa is calling." Then he added, "Call if you want to make a reservation." "Got it, thanks," I replied. I had my suspicions, but I didn't say anything. Later, I got a call at work. It was Marcia. "Can you come home early today?" she asked. "I have a surprise for you," I argued. "Yeah, I guess so," I said. "Rolf wasn't here today, so I can probably leave a little early. What do you have in mind?" "Well, I realized I've been kind of a bitch to you lately, and I'd like to do something to fix that," she said. "Maybe a sexy, romantic weekend away." "Sounds good," I said. "I'll see you this afternoon." In fact, I'd already seen her, thanks to my internet-enabled cameras. I'd also seen Rolf fuck her in our bed. Again. Showtime, I thought. I printed out the time-stamped footage from the video I had and went to HR. I also sent an email to Dave Matthews, our CEO, and a few elected board members. I also sent a copy to Rolf's wife. Eileen Jacobs, Director of Human Resources, was not pleased with my appearance. I made it unequivocally clear to her that I was filing a formal complaint against Rolf and, if his actions were not immediately stopped, I would take legal action against the company. I then headed over to Dave's office. I walked right past his assistant, who insisted I wait. "Screw it! I'm going to see Mr. Matthews right now," I said as I stormed into his office. Dave Matthews was a big man, but he knew I had him and the company in check. "I want that piece